We've all been told that motivation is the key to success. Everywhere you look, there's someone telling you that if you just find your passion or wait for that burst of inspiration, everything will fall into place. But what if I told you that relying on motivation is one of the biggest traps you can fall into? What if the truth is you don't need to feel inspired to succeed? Today, we're going to explore the dark side of motivation and why you might be better off ditching the idea of waiting for motivation to strike. Motivation is often romanticized as the secret ingredient to success. How many times have you heard people say, you just need to get motivated? It's portrayed as this magical force that pushes you to accomplish everything you've set out to do. But the problem with this is simple. Motivation is fleeting and unreliable, doesn't guarantee success, and it's not something you can always count on when the going gets tough. Consider this. When you wake up in the morning, do you feel motivated to start working on your goals? Probably not. Most of us feel groggy, tired, and unmotivated, especially on the days when we have the most work to do. So what do? We procrastinate, we put things off, and we tell ourselves that we'll get started once we feel more motivated. But here's the issue. Motivation doesn't magically appear when you need it most. It's not something that can be summoned at will. The idea that you need to feel motivated in order to succeed is a dangerous one because it leads to procrastination and inconsistency. Motivation can give you a burst of energy at the beginning of a new project, but it's unlikely to sustain you in the long run. There will be days when you feel tired, uninspired, or just plain unmotivated. And on those days, motivation will be nowhere to be found. So you end up skipping tasks, procrastinating, and not making progress. Waiting for motivation is essentially putting off the work that needs to be done. And that's a cycle that many people find themselves trapped in, unable to break free. This is especially true when we look at long-term projects or goals that require consistent effort over time. Without a system in place, you might continue to wait for that elusive motivation to appear, but it's unlikely to be the reliable force you're hoping for. If motivation isn't the key to success, then what is? The answer is simple: consistency. Success doesn't come from relying on motivation to push you forward. It comes from taking small, consistent actions day after day, whether you feel motivated or not. Think about the habits that people who achieve success have developed. They don't rely on motivation to show up every day. Instead, they've built routines and systems that help them stay on track, even when motivation is lacking. Consistency is what gets you results in the long run. The key to success lies in showing up day after day, regardless of how you feel. Let's take a look at someone like an Olympic athlete. They don't wait for motivation to show up before they train. They follow a strict training schedule and work toward their goals day in and day out. They understand that consistency, not motivation, is what leads to success. Whether they feel like training or not, they still show up, put in the work, and keep moving forward. The beauty of consistency is that it doesn't rely on feeling motivated. You can still make progress and build momentum, even on days when you feel uninspired. And the more consistent you are, the more effortless it becomes to keep going, even when motivation isn't present. To help you stay consistent, start by breaking your goals into small, manageable tasks. Don't focus on the big picture or the end result. Focus on the actions you can take every day. This approach removes the pressure of waiting for motivation to strike. Instead of hoping for inspiration to come to you, you'll be able to move forward because you have a clear plan of action and a habit in place. If you're enjoying this so far, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe for more tips on how to build a more sustainable path to success. Another key to success is creating systems that work without requiring motivation. Systems are essentially processes or structures that keep you on track, even when you're not feeling inspired. They help you stay productive without relying on that fleeting spark of motivation, which is often unreliable and inconsistent. Having systems in place allows you to continue working toward your goals, even when motivation isn't there to propel you forward. Think about the systems you already use in your daily life. For example, if you have a morning routine, you don't have to wait for motivation to get up, brush your teeth, or eat breakfast. You simply do it because it's a part of your system. The same can be applied to your goals. Instead of waiting for motivation to hit you, create systems and routines that make it easier to get the work done, even on the days when you're not feeling particularly inspired. Let's say your goal is to write a book. Instead of waiting for inspiration to strike, you can create a writing system. Set aside a specific time each day to write and commit to writing a certain number of words. This habit will eventually become become ingrained into your routine, and you'll find yourself sitting down to write without having to rely on motivation. By doing this every day, you've created a system that doesn't require motivation to function. Even on the days when you're not feeling inspired, you'll still sit down and do the work. It's about building habits and setting up structures that make your progress inevitable, regardless of how you feel. One way to build effective systems is to eliminate distractions and make it as easy as possible for you to do the work. If you're working from home, make sure your workspace is organized and free from distractions. For instance, clearing clutter or using noise-canceling headphones can help you stay focused. If you're trying to get healthier, prep your meals in advance or set a time each day to go for a walk. This will reduce the amount of decision-making required and remove friction that might otherwise prevent you from following through. The more you automate the process, the less you'll rely on motivation to get started. By creating a structure where you don't have to think too much about it, you make success inevitable. And the more systems you create, the easier it will be to stay consistent and focused, even when motivation is low. One of the most important qualities to develop if you want to achieve success without relying on motivation is discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's the secret ingredient that helps you stay consistent, work through obstacles, and keep making progress, no matter how uninspired you feel. Discipline is something that you can build over time. It's not about waiting for motivation to show up. It's about showing up anyway, even when you don't feel like it. When you embrace discipline, you make a commitment to yourself to keep moving forward regardless of how you're feeling. Discipline is the driving force that separates those who succeed from those who don't. While motivation is temporary and fleeting, discipline is something you can count on to push you through difficult times. It's what helps you keep going when motivation is nowhere to be found. And the more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes to take action without waiting for the perfect moment of inspiration. One way to strengthen your discipline is to make a commitment to small, consistent actions every day. It doesn't have to be a huge, overwhelming task. It just needs to be something that you can do consistently. Over time, as you continue to take action, you'll build momentum, and discipline will become a natural part of your routine. So, the next time you find yourself waiting for motivation to strike, remember this: motivation is not the key to success. Consistency, systems, and discipline are the real drivers of progress. Success doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment to feel inspired. It comes from showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. The more you focus on building sustainable habits, routines, and systems, the easier it will be to achieve your goals without relying on motivation. And as you continue to work toward your dreams, remember that discipline and consistency will take you much further than motivation ever could. If this video helped you rethink the way you approach success, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support makes a big difference and helps us continue to create valuable content. Thanks for watching.